Hey guys, welcome back to the Laid Back Homestead. I'm Crystal and today we're out of the garden and in my kitchen. And I have two new to me zucchini recipes that I can't wait to share with everybody. As always, I will link the original recipes down below in the description box. I will also type up any changes that I personally make to the dish while I'm cooking it. I do ad-lib a little bit, so I will type that up as well, but I have no doubt that the original recipes would be just as delicious as followed. So first up, we have zucchini fritters. I have always been intimidated by the idea of making zucchini fritters, and I don't really know why I was as intimidated as I was. These came together really quickly. So here I've just gathered our ingredients. We need zucchini, obviously, 2 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan, 1/4 cup of flour, and 1 egg. So now I'm just going to start by cutting off the ends of my zucchini and then cutting it in half so it'll be more manageable, because the first step is to grate your zucchini. If you are using a large zucchini like I am here, this one by itself weighed in at 1.3 pounds, you're going to want to go ahead and de-seed your zucchini first. It's around this time I noticed the large seed showing up in my zucchini mixture, which I eventually do pick out. So now you're going to take your grated zucchini and you're going to place it in a colander or a mesh strainer. I'm using a mesh strainer over a pot, and you're going to salt this and you're going to let it sit for 10 minutes so that that salt can draw out as much moisture as possible. And you can see here I'm picking out the large seeds as I find them. Sorry it's a little off camera, but I am just adding the original 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt to the grated zucchini. And then I eventually go back in and add a little bit more because I wanted to make sure that all of the zucchini was completely covered by salt. While you're waiting for your zucchini to release all of its water, you can go ahead and start mixing up the rest of the ingredients. So to the bowl, I'm adding in 1 egg, about a tablespoon of chopped garlic, some salt, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and a 1/4 cup of flour. I did pre-whisk the egg before adding the other ingredients to the bowl. And now we're just going to give it a little mix. Once your zucchini has sat for about 10 minutes, you can see how much water has already come off of my zucchini here. Now we're going to take it and squeeze the rest of the water out. If you have a cheesecloth, which is what the recipe recommends, you can use that. I thought I had one, but it turns out I don't, so I will be squeezing the rest of the water out by hand. And since my zucchini still felt a little waterlogged, I decided to go ahead and get some paper towels and a paper plate so I could press as much water out of the zucchini as possible. You want to get as much water out because this will help to make sure that your batter is not soupy before you put it in the pan to fry them. So here I'm just coming in with some paper towels and pushing down just to get as much of that water out as possible. Once you're satisfied with how dried your zucchini is, you will add it to the bowl and mix it into your egg mixture. So to a pan, you're going to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of oil. And now you're going to take a tablespoon of batter at a time and just place it into the hot oil. And you're just going to continue cooking for 2 minutes on each side or until golden brown. Once I was satisfied with the color, I went ahead and moved them to a paper towel lined paper plate to absorb as much oil as possible. If you're looking for crispy fritters, make sure to flatten the fritter out with the back end of a spatula. These came together so quickly and my boys absolutely love them, so I will be making them again. I ate them as a quick lunch and my boys ate them as a side with dinner. This next recipe is a sausage rice skillet. If you are following this recipe exactly, you will need zucchini, some onion, some green bell pepper, as well as some V8 juice. And the recipe as it stands calls for instant rice, and you will also need a pound of ground sausage. I do not have instant rice, so I am using long grain rice. I am also doubling this recipe, so I will use one of the cans of V8 juice to cook my rice in my rice cooker that you see here, and the other can of V8 juice I will use on the stove with the vegetables. While my rice is cooking in the microwave, I'm going to go ahead and brown up some ground sausage and get all of my veggies chopped and ready to go. Y'all, this is one of those nights where I was truly exhausted. I had spent all day outside in the garden, and then my husband surprised me by coming home early, and we went to our property where we did more work. So by the time I got home to cook dinner, I was ready to be done with the day. So my food chopper made quick work of this. Overall, this dinner came together very quickly. I want to say maybe 20 minutes max, and that was with all of the chopping and pre-cooking. And it's busy days like this that truly make me so grateful for modern day kitchen gadgets. And now that our sausage is done, we'll go ahead and add all of our veggies to the pan with a can of V8 juice and simmer until the vegetables are tender. Here I'm going in with my seasonings. I'm just using salt, garlic powder, and I used Italian seasoning. The recipe I think just called for oregano, but I grabbed the closest thing to me. And now just stir to combine. And this is where I go off script a little bit. I had some leftover red wine sitting on my counter from another cooking project, and I added in a splash, about 1/4 cup, maybe a little less. And y'all, I really do think this elevated the flavor so much. And after letting that cook off for a couple seconds, I come in with my V8 juice. Also, if any of you have any favorite squash or zucchini recipes, please comment them down below. I am always looking to try new recipes out. And now we're going to add our cooked rice to our pan. And if you were using the minute rice or the instant rice, you would let it simmer until it was cooked through, but because my rice is already cooked, I am just going to heat this through and serve. And now I'm just going to taste test for seasonings to make sure it's to my liking. Y'all, this came together so fast. I was so exhausted. I did not get a picture of it on the plate, but I definitely think adding that splash of wine really brought out the flavor. Everyone in my family really enjoyed this, and I will definitely be making it again. And as always, I will have the original recipes linked down below in the description box.